I'm sharing 10 different crypto ideas that I think have the potential to 100x during the next bull run. The last crypto cycle, we had quite a few projects that did 100x or more, turning every $1,000 invested into over $100,000. And I personally had a few projects that I got in on that did this exact same thing, where I would invest $760 and it turned into $150,000, or I invested $3,000 and it turned into over $600,000. And I did most of that during the later stage of the bull run, or during the mid stage of the bull run. It would have been far more insane had I started during the bear market. And right now we're in the middle of the bear market, and it's a great time to find all the hidden gem cryptos that are lost among the rubble, as most people have completely checked out of the market. Now, a couple disclaimers: looking for projects that could potentially 100x is extremely difficult, and for the most part involves looking at projects that are currently really small, which means as well that they're very risky. So don't be dumb and just put your life savings into these things just because I'm talking about them. This is purely for entertainment and informational purposes only. If you don't follow it up with your own research, then you're probably going to lose a lot of money. Also, as another disclaimer, I put my money where my mouth is. I personally own all of these projects that I'm about to talk about. First up is Goldfinch. Goldfinch is a global credit marketplace, allowing off-chain borrowers to match with on-chain lenders. And Goldfinch has grown outstanding loans year over year by 162% and has never had a loan default since inception. Goldfinch is essentially an open source, decentralized lending protocol, but it's very different than something like Aave or your typical crypto lending platform. Their tagline is real yields from real companies. Here's a quote that I think explains their core thesis. The Goldfinch community believes in a future where anyone, anywhere, can finance the economic activity of anyone, anywhere. It's kind of a weird quote now that I'm saying it out loud, but it's cool when you read it. Real yield at its core always comes from real economic activity or innovation. And in a nutshell, this is what this protocol aims to provide: a place to invest in real world economic activity and then profit as it grows. The global credit market is currently a $124 trillion market. And if Goldfinch can successfully capture even 1% of that, that is $1.2 trillion. Currently, the GFI token, the token for Goldfinch, has a market cap of just $69 million, leaving plenty of room for growth. And even if it were to grow and just realize the size of something like Aave, so it goes from 69 million to the size of Aave at the height of the last bull run, that would be 108x return on investment, which qualifies for this list because I'm looking for, anything that can 100x. But I personally believe that the potential for Goldfinch is actually much higher, considering, what we just talked about. Next up is Enzyme. Enzyme is a platform for basically crypto index funds. I have believed for a long time that this would be huge in the crypto space, and so far my belief has gotten me a lot of nothing, but I believe this next bull run that I'm going to be right, that finally crypto index funds will find their place. They will find their slot among champions, and they will stand proud and tall and be massive, because it just makes sense that making crypto investing simpler and easier for the average person is going to massively be a big thing. Think of all the people who have no idea what a good investment would entail in the crypto space and have no technical expertise to go use all these swaps and blockchains and bridges and all of that. Maybe they want exposure to GameFi, maybe they want exposure to DeFi, maybe they want exposure to the NFT market, but they don't know where to get started. An on-chain index fund is an amazing solution for them. They could just go buy the NFT fund, or they could go buy the GameFi fund, or they could go buy the Solana fund or the Polkadot fund, or whatever it is. It's just so easy. And then their money's managed for them by somebody who's gonna at least do a better job than they are. They were gonna ape into some crazy token called Elon's Baby Yoda coin, and now they're aping into the DeFi fund, which is actually some good quality projects. In general, people just like easier, faster, cheaper. And in my opinion, an index fund like this is all three of those things in one. And I believe it's a key piece of infrastructure that we need to continue to scale crypto to the masses. Enzyme's token is the MLN token, and that's because they used to be called Melon, I think, they used to have something to do with melons, and then they changed it to Enzyme, but their token is still the MLN token, and it has two purposes. It's used to pay fees on the network by users, and it's used to incentivize developers to build on Enzyme. I believe that eventually an idea like this will succeed. I don't know if it'll be Enzyme or it'll be something else, but I'm kind of like investing in ideas like this because I believe one of them is going to be massive. It's going to be like a multi-billion-dollar protocol come next bull run. Next up, we have Pendle. Pendle is interest derivatives on chain. According to Pendle themselves, it's a market worth over $400 trillion in nominal value. Basically, it's a really, really big number, but more importantly, that's a really, really great narrative that I think could potentially catch on come next bull run. Narratives are really powerful in the crypto space and the stock space. Narratives in general are just powerful and can make or break markets. Just look at AI right now. All the AI companies, everyone's freaking out about AI cryptos and stocks, anything to do with AI, and all the different companies are like adding AI features to everything they do. Narratives are really powerful and they can really cause some crazy things to happen. Currently, Pendle is worth just $74 million in fully diluted value, and I don't think it's insane to believe it could hit $8 billion if the trend really took off. That would be a 108x return on investment, turning every $1,000 invested into $108,000. So for me, that's a bet I'm willing to take and makes Pendle a really interesting play going into the next bull run. Fourth up is Dopex. Dopex is a decentralized options exchange built on Arbitrum. The main reason I chose this play is one, Arbitrum has massively been blowing up. It's been growing like crazy, and that's a great place to be positioned as a protocol right now. And two, I believe that we're finally going to see decentralized options finally find its footing come next bull run. It really hasn't had a chance to shine. It really hasn't taken off or gotten any traction in any meaningful way. And it's such a big part of the TradFi space that I gotta believe that in a decentralized finance system, options will also be a big part. And so I've been waiting for this narrative, for this trend to gain traction. So far it hasn't, but I think this next bull run, all the pieces are in place for it finally to gain some sort of traction. Fifth up is Sphere. Sphere is a meta governance project. It's building a suite of protocols for the DeFi space, including a bribe marketplace, a stablecoin, a lending platform, and more. And they recently released their protocol Dyson, which is quickly becoming the go-to place for Solidity forks looking for a liquid wrapper solution. So far, they've amassed about $4 million in total value locked, not including Wild Sphere, which would bring the total value locked to about 12 million. In total, the Sphere ecosystem in total value locked has about $14 million. Again, not including the Wild Sphere, which would make it, I think, around 26 million. I believe one day they could have over $1 billion in total value locked as they continue to grow their ecosystem. And a quick disclaimer, I'm friends with Sim, which he's like one of the main guys behind Sphere. And Obsidian also did KYC for Sphere. As well as, on top of that, I personally hold a lot of Sphere tokens myself. And so I'm certainly vulnerable to bias that could warp my opinion on Sphere. So take it as you will. I also keep an up-to-date list of disclosures, which you can find in the description of this video. Sixth up is Premia. This is another options platform similar to Dopex. Unlike Dopex, however, its fully diluted value is 81 million and its circulating supply, like market cap, is just a measly $8 million. So it's really, really small, and being so small, it has a lot of upside potential. Plus, kind of in my head, if options do take off, if I'm right in this next bull market, options just skyrocket, it's not going to just be one platform that goes, bananas. People are going to see one go up, and they're going to be like, oh, maybe this other platform that nobody's paying attention to will also go up. So a lot, rising tide raises all ships, elevates all ships. A rising tide sends all ships to the moon. And I think that, as the tide rises for crypto options, there could be multiple winners. And so this is another one that I'm looking at, potentially could be one of those winners. I also think that Premia has one of the slickest interfaces in the space. The user interface is amazing. It's really easy to understand, and I like that. I think that if you make something easier to understand, if you provide a better UI UX experience, then more people are going to want to use your product. Seventh up is Index. Index aims to create a decentralized index fund platform. I'm sure you're noticing a trend. I'm like kind of sticking to these themes or these narratives that I really believe are going to gain traction next bull run. All I need is one to do 100x, and I've made a ridiculous amount of money. And like I explained earlier, it's likely that not just one will do well, but as the trend really takes off and matures, kind of that entire space will rise altogether. Currently, Index has 3 different index products. It has DPI, which is a DeFi index fund, BED, which is made up of Bitcoin, Ethereum, and then the DPI index fund I just mentioned. So there's an index fund in their index fund, and MVI, which is a metaverse index fund. They also have some other interesting offerings as well, including one in the LSD space, which is not in reference to like drugs or anything. It's LSD would be liquid staking derivatives, which is like when you stake ETH, and you can't unlock it, you're given a liquid token, which allows you to like, it represents your stake in ETH. Index, in my opinion, is a quality project currently sitting at a really small market cap of just $15 million. That's some serious potential upside, and to me, an exciting opportunity. Eighth up is Akash. Akash is the decentralized peer-to-peer compute network. Unless you've been living under a rock lately, you've probably heard of ChatGPT or something like Midjourney. ChatGPT is the fastest software product to scale to 1 million users ever. And one thing about AI is it requires a ridiculous amount of compute, as does streaming, Internet of Things, and literally just about everything you can imagine these days. And today's businesses turn to cloud service providers like AWS to get access to this compute so that they can like do the things that they need to do. But it's expected over the next decade that demand for compute is going to far outstrip any sort of supply that we have. The metaverse alone, according to Matthew Ball, will require the greatest ongoing computational requirements in history, meaning over time it's expected that compute will become a scarcer and scarcer resource. This is where projects like Akash step in and lead the way. Akash taps into unused compute potential via consumer GPUs, creating a decentralized cloud network that anyone can tap into for additional compute. As AI continues to grow and eventually forces us into servitude, I believe that projects like Akash will become a much needed solution. Ninth up is Redacted Cartel. Redacted is another meta governance project, and they put a heavy focus on making governance much more useful. With a lot of crypto projects having tokens that are just vanilla governance tokens with very little use cases, I believe that this is a really important area in the crypto space to pay attention to, or that needs improvement. And Redacted does this a few different ways. The first is their bribe marketplace Hidden Hand. This optimizes the process of what typically is called bribes, but could also just be called like incentives. It's like I want you to vote this way, so I'm gonna pay you money to vote this way, but it's done transparently, ethically, all on chain. Everyone knows what's going on. It's not like under the table and against the rules. On top of that, they have a product called Pyrex. Here's how they describe it. Pyrex is a product by Redacted which creates liquid wrappers that allow for auto compounding and the tokenization of future yield/vote events. The goal of this product is to bring much more utility to governance tokens by creating finance products around the voting process. If successful, it could make governance tokens much more useful and hopefully solve some of the current problems that we have with governance tokens. And last up is Forex. And the concept for this one is simply decentralized Forex. So take the Forex markets, decentralize that, put them on chain, put them in the crypto space, boom, Forex, that's what it is. It's a huge market that crypto has yet to really break into, as far as I'm aware. If I'm wrong about that, somebody let me know in the comments below. And I think Forex could succeed for a couple different reasons. For one, it's built on Arbitrum, which is a great place to be building right now. Two, I believe it could grow based on narrative. The Forex market does something like $7 trillion in volume every single day, according to the Bank of International Settlements. And three, in general, building a Forex product in crypto sounds like it could be a useful thing. Even if they could capture a small percentage of that $7.5 trillion traded every single day, that would be like a massive amount of revenue that this protocol would be making. Keep in mind though that Forex is an extremely small market cap crypto. It's probably the smallest one that I've mentioned in this whole video. And small market cap cryptos carry an extreme amount of risk, and they're definitely not for everyone. They're definitely very, very risky. Anyone investing in a project like this should be comfortable with losing 100% of their funds. Also, for anyone interested, I release monthly research reports where I talk about all kinds of different ideas in crypto that I'm looking at personally for my own investment list. This is a part of a paid group called the Obsidian Council. I also release monthly airdrop reports. We have in-person meetups and a ton of other really cool things. So if that's something that interests you, there's a link in the description of this video. Also, I'm going to be doing a podcast episode with a couple different guests on their top 10 picks for altcoins that could 100x during the next bull run. So if you don't want to miss that, make sure you subscribe to the podcast. There's a link in the description below. And as always, none of this is investment advice. None of this is me telling you to go buy any of these projects. You can always lose 100% of your money investing in crypto, and blindly copying YouTube videos or things you hear on YouTube is a really quick way to lose all your money. You should always do your own research and make sure you know what you're doing before jumping into any sort of investment. If this video is helpful, make sure to hit that like button. If you have any questions or comments, or if you have anything that you think should be on this list but wasn't, let me know in the comments below. If you want to see more videos like this, make sure to hit that subscribe button and the little bell next to it to be notified each time I release a video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you around.